Hey guys, welcome back to another video. I'm going to be talking about my wildcard plans moving into game week 24, as well as who I'm looking for in the coming blank game weeks that we should be expecting in game week 31 and 34 with the FA Cup fixtures, as well as obviously Champions League and the Carabao Cup. So let's get into it. So as you can see on the screen, I do have my defenders already out there. Faded out is my old team, so I will be replacing them. This is obviously live FPL, which is a great asset for any FPL manager. I would definitely recommend it. But yeah, moving into my defense, I do have Pickford in net. I think that he has a lot of value in making saves. I know that Everton do kind of concede a little bit, but I think that Pickford, when he does keep a clean sheet, will always be getting some bonus points. And I think that he's a great shot stopper. So yeah, I think I'm going to have him in net over having someone like Raya. I do have the money to have Raya in there, but I think that Raya is just kind of boring with the clean sheets. He gets maybe 6 points every once in a while, and not every once in a while, but like I think Pickford is a better option as far as getting points when he's not keeping a clean sheet. And that's the reason why he is obviously the first keeper over 100 points this season. And I think that he will continue to do that, as I think Everton's fixtures are pretty decent. As you can kind of see on the right-hand side of the screen, they do face Brighton, Fulham, Bournemouth, and United. So to me, that's a pretty decent option. I think, two of those are home games. They actually have been playing a little bit better defensively away from home. So I do expect a clean sheet against Brighton and possibly against Fulham. So Pickford is good. Obviously, my backup keeper down here will be Dubravka. I think that he's just a great option for 4.0. I know that there is Darlow in net for Leeds now, who's at 3.9 and could be an option for us moving forward, but Leeds I really don't trust defensively. I think they've conceded the second most amount of goals this season, or at least XGC, so I don't expect them to be keeping any clean sheets. He might be good for some save points, but yeah, if you really need that extra 0.1 over Dubravka, then sure, but I would keep Dubravka in as a reliable shot stopper and goalie as a backup. And then for my 5 defenders, I do have Gabriel and Timber for pretty template. I feel like I need to cover the Arsenal defense. I do expect them to keep a lot of clean sheets moving forward, as Arsenal have some pretty good games against Leeds, Sunderland, Brentford, and Tottenham. All those teams, they can score, but I expect Arsenal to keep a lot of clean sheets in the next, 5 or 6 weeks. Chelsea, Brighton, Everton, Wolves. Yeah, they look like they need to be held. I need to have at least double defense. And if I'm not going with Raya, I feel like I do need Timber and Gabriel. And also we can expect Arsenal to be having a double game week in 26, most likely due to the FA Cup. And so that'll be forced into game week 26 as far as Ben Crelland predicts. So I do trust him, and I feel like I need to get that double game week. When game week 31 does come around and they blank, I may be free hitting. I may be saving up transfers to get one of them out and then bench the other. We'll see what happens, but that is kind of my plan so far. And then I have Matheus Nunes. I think that he's just been fantastic this year for City. He gets assists. He's pretty much locked in at right back for Man City. I know that Kusanov can play at right back, but I think Matheus Nunes is Pep's first choice and almost his only choice at right back, because he doesn't really think of Rico Lewis as a right back anymore. He plays Rico only in the midfield these days. So I think Matheus Nunes is a lock at right back, and he's been really good for bonus points. City should be keeping clean sheets now that we have Guehi. I say we, I'm a City fan. So with the signing of Guehi, I do expect that City should be keeping some more clean sheets in the coming weeks. And I think Matheus Nunes is a great option moving forward. And then I have Cucurella just to cover the Chelsea defense, as well as their great fixtures. They are, facing Wolves at home, or Wolves away next week, but West Ham at home this week. And then Leeds and Burnley. I don't think there's a better stretch of games for Chelsea. So I will be tripling up on them, as you'll see. And then for my 5th defender, I do have Mosquera from Wolves. He actually, if you take a look at his data, I pulled up all my defenders here. Mosquera, he actually has been getting a lot of shots in the box. They have been looking really good lately. Actually, Wolves defensively, I know that they are, I think, third for goals conceded over the past 3 weeks. So I do expect him to be a good option, especially when they do double, most likely in 26. So I may be bench boosting to get all those Arsenal and Wolves guys bench boosted. Moving into my midfield, I don't think anybody on wildcard or even making a regular transfer this week will be going without Bruno Fernandes. So let's bring in Bruno Fernandes, if I can find him. So I will be bringing in Bruno. I think he's a no-brainer. United have good fixtures. He's locked in, and he's playing at the 10. As everyone else is saying, I think that he is the most reliable FPL asset in the game, possibly besides Gabriel. So I think that he is necessary. And then similar to Cucurella, I will be bringing in Enzo Fernandez. I think that he is undroppable with these fixtures. He's on pens if Palmer is out, which I do expect Palmer to be getting limited minutes. So I think that Enzo is a no-brainer as well. I do have Wilson on my bench for now, but he is my third midfield slot. And then I have Semenyo, who I think is the most owned midfielder in the game right now. And he looks to be in pretty good form for City. He scored against Wolves last week. He scored in the FA Cup. He scored in the EFL Cup, I believe. So yeah, he's just been on fire. And I think that everyone should have him in their teams. Semenyo is a great option. I am not going to be getting Rodgers. I think I really struggled with fitting him into the midfield, and I was kind of unwilling to sacrifice Harry Wilson for him. So that was my dilemma this wild card. I think if you wanted to differentiate and go Rodgers, Aston Villa have some really good games coming up. Brentford, Bournemouth. I think Bournemouth are conceding the second most goals besides Burnley in the league right now. So Rodgers should probably get some returns in the next few weeks. I just didn't think that he was worth the extra $2 million over Harry Wilson, so I went without. But as far as my other slots, I am dropping Saka actually, and I'll be bringing in Brian Mbeumo. I think that he's been fantastic as far as since AFCON ended. Mbeumo has been looking really good, playing in front of Fernandez. He's been playing kind of as a 9, and Šeško is benched. And with the injury to Dorgu, I think that'll force Mbeumo and Cunha to both be on the field, which actually should help Mbeumo's minutes, as he won't be getting substituted out for Cunha later in the game. So I think that Mbeumo is kind of a great option as a goal scorer for United, who should be turning things around with the promotion of Michael Carrick as interim manager. And let's see, who's my last option? Is that all my midfielders? Yes. All right, and then moving into my attack. So I do have Haaland. I think that Haaland is undroppable. I know that he might actually be seeing a price fall tonight as I talk on Wednesday night, but I think that he is undroppable, and really I don't really see a place where I want to put that extra money in. I did a Haaland wildcard, or Haaland list wildcard draft, and I had $4 million at least left over. I didn't want to bring in Salah, and I thought Palmer was a minute's risk. And even if I did bring in Palmer, I think there was still $3 million left over. So I really don't think that going without Haaland is worth it. I think that he will find his form. He always does, and will punish people who are dropping him this week or in the coming few weeks. I will be dropping Thiago actually for a guy you might be familiar with. I know a lot of people have been talking about him, but Mane of Wolves actually is who I'm looking at. They double in 26, as I said before, and I think that he's been taking a lot of shots. He looks like he wants to score goals, and I think he has license to kind of get forward. I know he is classed as a striker in FPL, but he is playing a little bit more in the midfield, so not the best out of position player, but he is taking shots. He is looking hungry for goals. He's getting in the mix, and I think that he should be a really good option for 4.5. I did contemplate going with Krupi instead, but I think that sometimes Krupi gets substituted a little bit too early for my taste, and I know that they're making signings with that Semenyo money, so I don't really trust Krupi's minutes as much as the next guy, and I think that for 4.6, I don't really think you have too much to lose, but also I think that Mane is just a better option, especially because he won't be playing every week, if at all, except for that double, and I want to capitalize on a bench boost, so I think that I will be going with Mane here. And then for my final slot, I'll be going for my final Chelsea guy, and that is Joao Pedro. I'll be playing him over Mane, obviously, this week when they play West Ham. And I think JP is just a great option. I know that he might be at a minus risk with Liam Delap behind him, but he's been on fire for the last 2 games. I think that Rosenior is like really enjoying how creative he is and the role that he's taking in Palmer's absence. So I think that he should continue to play, especially as Palmer kind of weans his way back into the starting 11. And I think that Joao Pedro will continue to score goals. They face Wolves, Leeds, Burnley. It doesn't really get much better than that over the next 4 games. So he will be starting. He will be staying in my lineup, barring any injury. And yeah, this is kind of how I'm looking. I think I have about 0.8 left in the bank. I know it says 0.69 up here. But yeah, I do have the money for this team. I already have it locked in. I think that this is the best option. If you can't afford it, obviously you can make some amendments. I know that you could drop Timber even to like a Munoz, or Cucurella to a Chalaba, Mateus Nunes to a Guehi, that kind of thing. Pickford even to a Sanchez if you don't want to have a Chelsea defender, or you don't want to have Joao Pedro. There are a lot of options, I think, on Wildcard. I know that it feels a little limited, like you only have Haaland, Joao Pedro, Watkins, Evan Nilsson, Mane, and Krupi to choose from, Thiago as well. But like, there are obviously limitless combinations of players that you can have in the game this year. I think that if you want to pigeonhole yourself into a starting lineup that looks very template, you can. Obviously, I have done that with my midfield, but I am trying to kind of get some differentials. I don't think a lot of people will have Cucurella. I don't think a lot of people will have Mateus Nunes. I know that Mbeumo is actually not as owned as you might think he is, so I think that he will be a great option as well. And Joao Pedro, I think, is kind of my biggest differential. I don't think people will be going for him this week. I think they'll probably use their free transfer on Enzo. So I think that going for Joao Pedro and Cucurella is a good differential for me moving forward. And as far as the data goes, everyone who I'm bringing in is kind of playing well above what their expected value is. I know I'm kind of blocking it off over there. But yeah, so I think that Enzo, Fernandez, Wilson, Mbeumo is where I want to be. All their numbers look good. The minutes look good. I think that this is my best option. I am kind of still tinkering. We'll see what happens on Friday, but as for right now, this is where I'm going. I have debated, getting rid of Timber because I know that Arsenal are slightly, wobbling a little bit, but I think that they will continue to keep clean sheets, and they have great fixtures. I am obviously going without Rice in the midfield, but as I said before, I just don't think I can fit him in, similar to Morgan Rogers. So yeah, I think that this is my best option, and this is what I'll be going with. Let me know what you're thinking for your wild card. I know that for me, I think I feel pretty confident. It is a little bit template, but as I said, hopefully some of these guys do offer some differentiating points and allow me to gain some rank, as I have dropped all the way to 370k over the past 4 game weeks. I was 60k at the beginning of the holiday fixtures, so a lot of points to gain back. But I think that this wildcard should allow me to kind of make inroads into that point deficit and get me back to where I want to be in the top 100k. As far as captaincy goes, I think this week Bruno Fernandes is the guy to have. Fulham have not really been keeping clean sheets, and they play at home in red hot form, and Bruno is back to loving the game, I think. For me, it's between Bruno and Mbeumo. I think that captaining Joao Pedro against West Ham is also on my mind, but I think I would rank him third in that list. So Bruno, Mbeumo, Joao Pedro, and then possibly someone like Enzo just for the pens, especially if Palmer doesn't start. and we know that beforehand. But yeah, so I would say Bruno, Mbuemo, João Pedro, Enzo, and then Haaland. I will be switching captaincy on the actual app, but if I had to rank them, that is what I would go with. All right, well, thanks for joining me on this little wildcard rant. I really do enjoy this style of video. I think that kind of getting my thoughts out there helps me to justify what I've chosen and also present the details as to why I think that these players are the best options that I think are out there. I think that between fixtures, obviously some of these guys are more fixtures, some of these guys are more form. And in terms of Haaland, I just don't think that he's droppable. So, yeah, like I said, I really enjoyed making this video. I enjoyed talking about my team. I think that it's really enjoyable to do a wild card. It's the most exciting chip to play, I think, in my personal opinion. Let me know who you'd go different, maybe a different goalie or defender or something like that. If you have any comments on my team, I still have time to make some transfers, so if you have any better advice or some injury news that I don't know about, please let me know. Alright guys, well I guess I hadn't realized that the video had cut out on the last clip, but if you did enjoy today's video, please hit subscribe, hit like, and let me know any of your thoughts that you have for this week's wildcard. I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Peace.